My name is Stacy Middlestat, and I am the Director of Volunteers for Aging Next, and I am the Director of the AmeriCorps Seniors RSVP, Retired and Senior Volunteer Program. We at Aging Next have been the proud sponsor agency for AmeriCorps Seniors for 40 years in this area. And we are so proud to partner with our national service agency through the federal government. AmeriCorps promotes civic service and volunteering from college up through retirement. And our mission at Aging Next is to help people age at home well, healthy, and having a good time while doing so. And we strongly believe through the programs that we have that volunteering is one of the best ways that you can age well at home. You're retired and want to stay active, volunteer. Volunteer to help another senior who's not as active as you, who can't drive anymore. Help them to age at home well, the same way that you are. So we have Aging Next. All of our programs rely on volunteers. If you're not already a volunteer, come join us. So we've been doing this show to have senior friendly recipes. If you're aging at home, maybe you don't want to cook a lot anymore, and maybe there's just one of you at home, and maybe there's just two. So our goal has always been to find recipes that you can still cook, but are easy for you to put together. It's my pleasure today to introduce my guest chef, our very own CEO of Aging Next, Abby Pascua.
Thank you so much, Stacy. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. This is very exciting. This is such an honor to be part of Stacy's Kitchen. We started this a year ago when we had to pivot and switch to virtual events. And it was proven that Stacy's Kitchen is well liked. So we're continuing this. And thank you so much for joining us today. A couple of things. If you want the recipe, we will be sharing that later online through our website. And the video will also be available on YouTube. So stay tuned for that. Okay.
So each month we sit around and I ask the staff, hey, what can I make? Do you guys have any ideas for me? And one of the things that we thought was, well, maybe one of somebody else at Aging Next cook with me, you know? We all have great family recipes. So my history is I'm a native Californian with a Latina background. So that's where a lot of my recipes come from family, you know, things that I know here. Well, Abby and her family, their history is from the Philippines. So we thought we'd go international. So we were talking about recipes, and Abby said,
I volunteer. Yep, I'll volunteer.
She had an easy, minimal ingredient, staple, you know, things that we already have at home recipe that would work. And she told me what it was called, and it is
chicken adobo.
I immediately think it's going to be chicken with an adobo sauce, you know, smoked chilies and a red sauce. Totally different. And Abby is going to teach us a whole new twist on this Filipino favorite. Thanks, Abby.
Well, thank you. So let's get started. So this chicken adobo is the national dish of the Philippines. Now, if I have any Filipino friends watching right now, there's different variations, okay? Some of them will add pepper, some of them will add, or it will be dry. So different variations. This one is very special because this is the first recipe that I learned from my mom. It has onions and tomatoes. So let's get started.
Okay.
All right.
What are our basic ingredients?
Less than 10 ingredients. What you have here is chicken thighs, garlic, soy sauce, white vinegar, salt, onions, and tomatoes. And I like the thigh part because number one, it's moist, and it's also the most affordable part of chicken. You can go to the grocery, buy it in packs of 4, 6, or if you have a big family, they have that, what do they call it, family pack, or you can freeze them. Yeah. You can put 2 at a time, cook at a time, and it's just the best. What I'm using right now is chicken thighs with skin. Now you have the option to remove the skin part, but that's the best because it has the best flavor. So you want to simmer that. So we'll start, and this one we'll do 2 chicken thighs. You're just going to add everything to your pot, okay? And then your garlic, so 2 cloves of garlic. And then I have here 1/4 cup soy sauce and about a couple tablespoons of white vinegar. And then add like a pinch of salt.
So just kind of your flavor profile, what you would
Yeah.
normally cook. And you can always add more later after.
You can add later. Well, you can add water, you can add salt, but you don't add tomato and
Any more soy sauce or vinegar?
any more soy sauce or vinegar because you want to cook that. You want to
Got
cook
to
the
cook that.
vinegar, yes, the acid. So we're going to simmer this like about 5 to 10 minutes, okay?
And I'll let you wash your hands and I'll bring up this one
Thank
for
you.
you.
I feel like I'm Rachel Ray.
It's fun, isn't it?
It's fun.
And then what's even funner, most of you might not realize, when I do the show, we've got all this food left that we get to eat at the end of the show too.
So staff, we have lunch. Woo-hoo! All right.
So you're just gonna put that on a regular,
We'll put that
medium heat?
medium heat,
For-
simmer it for 15 minutes
15,
max.
okay.
Yes.
About 15
Because
minutes?
what you want is the flavor to soak in the meat, the chicken
Okay.
meat. Okay.
Now, I noticed that your sauce really reduces down. So you don't need a lot of sauce in there.
Mhm.
So it's not really juicy, that tomato sauce, that vinegar, and they've just absorbed into the chicken. So
Right.
you're not looking for a really,
No, you're not
for
looking
soup.
for a soup.
Okay,
No, it's really a sauce. And sometimes it's less sauce here. You can add a little bit of water because then you will have the tomatoes.
They're
Once
gonna give us
cook that, it'll give you
Okay.
that nice sauce flavor too. Okay.
So now you want me to dry these out?
Sure. So what we're going to do next is we are going to brown the chicken.
Okay.
Want that little crispy. Okay, so I have a couple tablespoons of canola oil. You can use whatever oil you have in your pantry. You can use virgin olive oil, vegetable oil, corn oil, whatever you have. Okay, and I happen to have canola oil. That's what I use for cooking. So
now I'm drying these off so that we don't get as much of a splatter.
splatter, yes. Just remember, you simmered it. It has that liquid. You have hot oil. You don't want to mix that together because then you're just going to have a fireworks of oil all over and also your skin. You don't want to do that. Okay, so we're just waiting for this to kind of warm up. And while we're doing this, Stacy, do you want to help me with cutting the tomatoes and the onions? Then what you want to do with the onions, and you're just going to slice them like in rounds. And then with tomatoes, you'll just dice it. And I use Roma tomatoes only because it's the perfect size. But you can use whatever tomatoes you have. You can use, the cherry tomatoes. You can use whatever tomatoes you have in your kitchen. Okay, we'll start frying this. Probably like a couple minutes on each side. And you just want to brown it. Okay, because it's semi-cooked. All right. Okay, so while we're waiting for this, I just kind of want to start plugging about our event on October 13th. I hope that you will join us at Top Golf in Ontario. We are celebrating 30 years of the Memory Care Center, and we are also partnering with the Alzheimer's Association. So I hope that you will join us at Top Golf Ontario, October 13th. It's 3 hours of fun, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m., $150 for 3 hours of golf and food and friendship, networking, and also giving back to your community. This is the first time that we are partnering with another nonprofit, and not just partnership. We are donating half of the net proceeds of this fundraiser event to Alzheimer's Association. So join us. We are also walking on October 15th. So if you want to join us, walk with us. We have a team, Aging Next team. You can go to Alzheimer's Association's website, look for our team, and join us. Okay, so it's starting to, I can start hearing it. It's getting brown now. How many attendees do we have? Who do we have in the house? 15? Nice. Okay, Stacy, how are you doing there?
I'm doing good. I get to be, so I am the sous chef today and I'm having a good time. Thanks, Abby.
It's so nice to have a sous chef. Usually when you're cooking, you're just by yourself. So once we start, you know, browning this, what am I cooking here? Oh, it's like all of a sudden I forgot my chicken. So I have two batches here, the one that I'm frying right now, and then the one that I put to simmer. So look at this, starting to get brown here. Look at that. If you really want for the skin, I love skin, so I like it crunchy. You can remove that. You don't have to cook that. You can remove it before you start cooking, or just fry it all the way.
Even if it's nice with chicken fat, because if you have a dietary restriction and your doctor has told you to take the skin off and the extra fat off, by using thighs, because they have that moist, you're okay. You're still gonna have a dry piece of chicken, even without the skin.
Or if you don't want to buy too much chicken, you can also use chicken strips. That's even faster to cook but they have thighs now. They have chicken thigh strips, so you can use that too. They're even better. And then
sometimes those little packages of the chicken tenders or chicken strips are very economical too.
Yes, so you can use that too. Okay, this is good. How are we doing on time?
We're doing great.
Oh, we're doing great. So we'll be cooking a batch. And regarding the ingredients, okay, with vinegar and soy sauce, when I am making this, I am used to making big batches of any kind of dish that I make. So you kind of like eyeball it. And with this one, we use like half, we say half a cup if you're making like 6 or 1/4 cup of soy sauce and about a couple tablespoons of the vinegar. You don't want it to get too much kind of like vinegar. So make sure that it's 1 to 2 to 1 portion.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so this is ready. Okay, we'll take it off the pan. Look at that. Ooh.
A little crispy skin there.
Have that crispy skin there. All right, so now we're ready to saute your onions and your tomatoes. Make it like medium heat there. Thank you, Stace. So I'm going to start with my tomatoes. Okay, saute that. Wow, Stacy, you dice this really good. I can't do it like this.
I'll show you my trick later on.
Yes. Okay, so while sauteing that, you want to add your onions. So you can use half of your onions if you're not into onions. I don't eat onions, but it will give you the best flavor. So you can just pick it out later.
No, this is your recipe, but if you're someone who really likes bell peppers, you mentioned that some people add in, red or green bell peppers too.
Yes, they can add that. Some will add potatoes. Some will add boiled eggs. Again, there's a different variation. There's a region in the Philippines where they use those hot chili peppers.
Okay.
But they add it. Boy, that is so spicy. I don't like that. So this one is perfect for me. My kids will eat it, and it's just perfect. So you wait.
So this is a great recipe because it can be what we call a refrigerator recipe. If you have some vegetables that go with chicken, you know, your sauce is really mild. Just, you know, you've got an acid with a little bit of vinegar and soy sauce. It goes with everything. But yeah, I mean, adding in your flavor profile, whether it's get a little heat or some potatoes or some bell peppers, you can make this your own and still have the base recipe that you're teaching us today.
Right. If you want it soupy, then you can add water and then add a little bit of vinegar to it. Let it simmer, let it boil, because you want to take the acidity down from the vinegar. Okay, so we wait.
Can you add more soy sauce instead of vinegar, or you want to keep that mild?
You want to taste it first, because you don't want it to get too salty. You want that perfect balance of saltiness and that little tangy. So you want to do that. Okay, so my tomatoes are getting like sweaty here. You can tell when I start doing that. And then my onions are kind of like caramelized now. So what you want to do when you have your leftover like sauce from the pot, when you put the simmer, see you have this little sauce here, you can add it. That will just add flavor to your chicken adobo, okay? Do that, thank you. I need to turn the heat up. How are we doing with time?
We're okay.
Wow. See, we're doing really good with timing.
And actually, you know, I was about to turn off the pot here. You went ahead and cooked some extra chicken thighs this morning to save time. But the ones that we put on the pot on the stove, they're already done.
Ready. Yeah, they're ready. Wow. There you go. Okay. So then once you have your onions caramelized and then your tomatoes are now like sauce type, then you want to add your chicken back into the pan. And then you just stir it, cover it for another, cook the chicken through for another, 5 minutes. And you're done. You can taste it. If you want it a little bit salty, add salt. In the Philippines, we use fish sauce. I'm not going to use that because you don't have that at home, I guarantee you. So we use salt. And then the rest, you're done.
Let's show us the finished product.
Let's show the finished product here. Imagine the magic. All right. Are you ready? So here is the finished chicken adobo. So if you see here, I got some oil here because I added more as a sauce, but then I left the skin on, and then there goes your tomatoes and your onions. So I'm going to,
and you normally just serve it with rice?
Rice is our staple, so I use rice. But again, you can use veggies. You can use tacos. You can make this as a taco.
You can shred it.
You can shred it and use it as your meat to your taco. And there you go.
Okay. I can't wait to see.
Stacy. Okay. There you go.
Okay. Such a simple recipe, but I can see, I can already tell just with those tomatoes and onions, what kind of, flavor you added to it.
And again, this is the staple in your pantry. You don't have to buy anything special.
This is really good. I took a big bite. This is surprisingly, I don't mean surprising, this is really good.
Thank you.
And you don't taste the vinegar at all. It's just flavor.
Yes.
The chicken is flavored perfectly. It's really flavorful. But the step you might not want to do that makes all the difference, because you cook the chicken first, you kind of wonder, why is she frying it afterwards? Couldn't you just eat it? Yeah, you could. I'm going to tell you what, I can taste that you did that little pan searing. That makes all the difference. And I don't even think I had a piece of skin. I just had the meat. But that searing process adds a whole nother layer of flavor on those sauce.
Kind of sealing it, you know?
This is delicious, Abby.
Thank you.
And it's simple. I mean, but why I say delicious is because that chicken is really flavorful.
Yeah.
And it's simply flavor. It's just a good, nice, solid flavor to it.
Right. And you don't need prep time. You don't need to go rush to the grocery to buy special ingredients.
No.
Everything you have in your pantry. And in half an hour, you have chicken adobo.
Yeah, this. I encourage you all to try it. Again, we'll put it on. The nice thing about this, Abby's going to put the recipe up for if you want to just make for one person, for two.
Yes.
But again, eyeballing your soy sauce and your vinegar, quarter cup to a half a cup of soy sauce, and then half that amount of white vinegar to make sure you have that ratio. You're not boiling that chicken in the pan. You're just simmering it in a little bit of juice until it's semi-cooked, and then you're going to finish it off in the frying pan. Oh my gosh.
Wonderful. And you can remove the skin off. Yes.
And that's the really good thing about the chicken thighs, because some people, due to dietary restrictions, are trying to cut down their fat. So if you take the skin off of a chicken thigh, you're still going to get some moisture. You're going to retain the moisture, unlike a breast. And you still get a nice flavorful piece of chicken without the skin.
You can use any kind. You can actually use fork too. It's just a little longer to simmer it, because then you have to really have the heat low. Okay. That way you can make the pork tender. But yes, you can use any part of chicken.
In fact, Adam mentioned you can even use the packages of the chicken strips, the thin chicken cutlets, or the chicken strips with our chicken breasts, because those a lot of times are on sale too. And those will take a little bit less time to cook than a thigh with a bone in. So it would even be a faster recipe, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you
so much for joining us. All right. Bye.
We'll see you next time.